Hello, audience. Welcome back, my family. It's time to talk about something powerful and raw, something real, something that many of us feel deep inside but are too afraid to confront. Today, I want to share with you a story that could be yours. A story of severing the link, a bond that once held everything together. And now, the people you've left behind are drifting in the dark. It's a story of courage, defiance, and the harsh reality that sometimes, to find yourself, you have to break away. You have to sever the ties that have bound you to the past. This isn't a light topic. It's not for those who want to pretend life is all sunshine and rainbows. No, this is for those who are ready to embrace the shadows and look deep within themselves. You have done it. You've severed the link, that tie that once kept you tethered to the past, to the familiar, to those people who held on for dear life. But that's the problem, isn't it? They held on to you, but never let you hold on to them. You weren't truly free. You weren't allowed to grow. So you made the decision. You pulled away. You broke that link. You severed that connection. And now they're drifting in the dark. The silence is deafening. The absence is suffocating. But let me tell you this. You made the right choice. When you cut that link, you chose to walk a path that many are too weak to take. You chose to take control of your life, your future, your destiny. People who don't understand will judge you. They'll question your motives. They'll look at you like you've lost your mind. But deep down, you know the truth. They don't see the darkness you were trapped in. They don't know what it was like to be bound to something that wasn't yours to carry. You were drowning in their expectations, their needs, their desires, and it was suffocating. So, you chose to sever the link. You chose to free yourself from the chains that once held you down. And now, they're lost. They're drifting in the dark, trying to find their way back to you. But they can't. They never will. You've stepped into the light. You've chosen the hard path, the path of growth, of strength, of independence. The darkness that once consumed you is no longer your enemy. It's your ally. It's where you found your strength. It's where you found your purpose. And those whom you've left behind, they may try to reach out. They may try to make you feel guilty. They may try to convince you that you made a mistake. But don't listen. Don't falter. You know what's best for you. And what's best for you is to keep moving forward. You're not responsible for their darkness. You're not their savior. You're not their lifeline. Yes, it's true that severing the link comes with consequences. Yes, it's true that sometimes the ones we love will fall into the void. They will be lost. But that's not your fault. They never understood that you were carrying their way. They never saw how much you were sacrificing. And now that you've chosen to break free, to rise above it, they're left to deal with their own demons. They're left to face the consequences of their own actions. And as they drift in the dark, you will rise. You will find your path. You will walk with confidence, with strength, with purpose. You'll discover parts of yourself that you never knew existed. You'll become the person you were always meant to be, not the person they wanted you to be. The people you left behind, they will never understand the depth of your decision. They will never fully grasp why you had to let them go. They will twist the truth. They will fabricate lies, and they will make you the villain in their story. But let me tell you something. You're not the villain. You're the hero of your own story. You fought for your freedom. You fought for your peace. And now you're standing tall. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your actions. You don't owe them anything. The world has a way of trying to keep us tethered to the past. It has a way of trying to keep us stuck in relationships, in situations, in patterns that hold us back. But you've seen through the illusion. You've recognized the truth. And that truth is that you can't grow if you're constantly looking back. You can't move forward if you're stuck in the past. So, you severed the link, and now, those who are left behind will have to face the consequences of their own choices. They will have to find their own way. But you found yours. And let me tell you this, it's not going to be easy. The road ahead is going to be tough. There will be moments of doubt, of fear, of loneliness. You will question yourself. You will wonder if you made the right decision. But in those moments, you need to remember this. You are not the one who is drifting in the dark. You are not the one who is lost. They are. They are the ones who failed to see your worth, who failed to see your potential, who failed to see that you were more than just a pawn in their game. You are the one who took control of your life. You are the one who made the hard choice. And that is something to be proud of. You see, we all have a point where we break. We all have a point where we realize that we can't keep living for others. We can't keep sacrificing our happiness, our peace, and our growth just to make someone else feel comfortable. And that moment, that breaking point, is different for everyone. For some, it's a single event. For others, it's a slow realization that builds over time. But when you reach that point, when you finally realize that you deserve more, that you deserve better, that you are worthy of peace and happiness, then the decision becomes clear. You have to sever the link. You have to cut the ties and walk away. The people who are left behind will never understand. They will always wonder what went wrong. They will blame you. They will hate you. They will try to make you feel like you made a mistake. But you know the truth. You know that you were never truly free. You know that you were trapped in a cage of their making. You know that you were living a life that wasn't yours. So, you broke free, you severed the link. And now, as they drift in the dark, you will rise. You will find your way. You will discover who you truly are. They may call you selfish. They may say that you're heartless. But you know what you are? You're brave. You're strong. You're someone who dared to break free. You're someone who dared to step into the unknown, to step into the darkness and trust that you could find your way out. You're someone who is no longer afraid of what others think, of what others say. You're someone who is finally living for yourself. So, let them drift. Let them get lost in the dark. It's their journey, not yours. You've done what you needed to do. You've severed the link. And now, you can walk forward with strength, with purpose, and with the knowledge that you did what was best for you. Let them find their own way. Let them face their own struggles. You found yours, and that's all that matters. Because in the end, it all boils down to one simple truth. Your journey is yours alone. You cannot let others dictate your path, your decisions, or your happiness. The world has a way of pulling us in every direction. It tells us who we should be, what we should want, and how we should live. But the reality is, the world does not know you the way you know yourself. Only you understand the struggles you've faced, the weight you've carried, the sacrifices you've made. The people who once surrounded you may never fully comprehend the complexity of your decisions. But that doesn't matter. You've made the choice that's right for you. This is a pivotal moment in your life. There will always be people who try to cling to the old version of you, the version they want you to be, the version that serves their needs, their desires, and their comfort. They will do everything in their power to convince you that you're wrong, that you should go back, that you should give in. But the truth is, if you listen to them, you'll never become the person you're meant to be. you'll never live the life that you deserve. When you sever the link, when you choose to walk away, you're choosing to prioritize yourself. You're choosing to put your well-being, your growth, and your future above all else. Yes, it's painful. Yes, there are moments of doubt. Yes, there are voices in your head that will try to convince you that you've made a mistake. But in those moments, you need to remind yourself of one thing. You cannot live someone else's life. You cannot carry the weight of other people's expectations, fears, and limitations. You must live for yourself, and that is not something to be ashamed of. That is something to be proud of. You've heard it before, and I'll say it again. Growth is painful. Progress comes with sacrifice. But let me tell you something. Without sacrifice, there is no true growth. The people you've left behind may feel abandoned. They may feel lost in the dark, drifting aimlessly, because you were the anchor that held them steady. But in reality, they were never truly anchored to you. They were anchored to their own needs, their own desires, their own limitations. You were just the one who bore the weight for them. You were the one who carried their pain, their burdens, their disappointments. And now, by severing the link, you're giving them the opportunity to find their own strength. You're giving them the space to face their own darkness, their own struggles, and their own growth. They may not understand that right now, but someday they will. And when they do, they will realize that you did what you did not out of selfishness, but out of love for both them and yourself. Think about it. You're not running away from them. You're not abandoning them in the cold, dark void. No, you're creating space. You're showing them that they too can stand on their own 2 feet. You're teaching them that they are capable of finding their own way out of the dark. They may not see it now, but one day they will. One day, they will realize that the greatest gift you could have given them was your absence. Because in your absence, they were forced to confront their own weaknesses, their own fears, and their own limitations. And that is where true growth happens. The darkness they find themselves in, it's not a punishment. It's not a consequence of your actions. It's simply the natural order of things. Sometimes we must fall into the dark before we can rise into the light. Sometimes we must face our own shadows before we can step into our true selves. The darkness is where the greatest transformations happen. It is where you are forged into the person you are today. And when they look back on this time in their life, when they look back on the moment you severed the link, they will understand. They will understand that it wasn't about you leaving them behind. It was about you choosing to move forward. It was about you choosing to leave behind the chains that once held you down. And in the end, they will be grateful. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday they will thank you, because you gave them the greatest gift they could ever receive, the chance to save themselves. I know it's hard. I know the weight of guilt can be unbearable. You may feel like you're responsible for their pain, their suffering, their confusion. But listen to me. You are not their savior. You cannot carry their burdens any longer. You cannot live their life for them. The only life you can live is your own. And by severing the link, you're giving them the opportunity to live their life on their own terms. You're giving them the opportunity to find their own light in the darkness. You're giving them the chance to rise. But here's the thing. While they're in the dark, so are you. This is not a one-sided experience. You too have to face your own darkness. You too have to find your way through the void. It's not easy. It's not a simple path. But it is a path worth walking. Because on the other side of that darkness is a version of yourself that you have never met. A version of yourself that is strong, confident, and unafraid. A version of yourself that is no longer tethered to the past, a version of yourself that is free. As you walk through this dark time, as you navigate the unknown, you must hold on to this one truth. You are not alone. You are never truly alone. Yes, you may feel isolated. Yes, you may feel abandoned, but you are not alone. You are connected to something much greater than yourself. You are connected to the energy of the universe, to the force that drives all things forward. That force is within you, and it is guiding you. It is leading you through the darkness, showing you the way. All you have to do is trust it, and as you trust it, you will begin to understand something profound. The darkness is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. The darkness is where you find your strength. It is where you discover who you truly are. It is where you realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. And when you emerge from that darkness, you will do so with a sense of clarity and purpose that you never had before. So, let them drift. Let them be lost for a while. It's not your job to save them. It's not your job to hold their hand through the darkness. They will find their own way, just as you are finding yours. And when they do, they will see you for who you truly are. Someone who chose to rise. Someone who chose to walk through the darkness. And emerge into the light. That's the power of severing the link. It's not just about them, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your power, your life, your freedom. And that, my friend, is something worth fighting for. That's what it all boils down to. When you sever the link, when you make the decision to break free from the weight of others, you are fighting for something that goes beyond mere survival. You are fighting for your soul, your peace, your identity, your life, the kind of life that you truly deserve. Too many people walk through life shackled by the chains of other people's expectations, desires, and needs. We all have a point where we start to realize that we can no longer live that way. And for you, that moment came. It wasn't an easy choice to make. It wasn't a quick decision. It took time, pain, self-reflection, and the clarity that only comes when you are ready to face the truth. The truth that your growth is hindered by your attachment to others. And that, my friend, is the most powerful realization you can ever have. Because once you understand that, you will do anything to break free. When you choose to sever the link, you're not just walking away from the people who were once a part of your life. No, you're walking away from everything that kept you in a cage. You're walking away from the version of yourself that you no longer want to be. You're stepping into a new chapter where your past no longer defines you, where your past no longer controls you, where your past no longer holds power over you. That's a journey worth embarking on. That's a battle worth fighting. But here's the thing, it's not going to be easy. Breaking away from the people you've known, from the relationships you've held onto for so long, is like cutting through your own flesh. It feels like you're tearing apart a part of your soul, and it should feel that way because those connections, those bonds, have been a part of you for so long. It's hard to let go. It's painful. But you know deep down that if you don't, you will never find the peace, the happiness, the freedom you crave. You will always be bound to something that isn't meant for you anymore. You will always be shackled by a past that no longer serves you. And that, my friend, is a fate worse than the pain of severing the link. Let them drift. Let them be lost for a while. Let them navigate their own way through the dark. It is not your job to save them. It is not your responsibility to hold their hand through the uncertainty of their own journey. They will have to face their own demons, their own darkness, and their own fears. You cannot do that for them. You cannot carry their weight anymore. That was never your role, even though for so long you believed it was. You carried their burdens because you thought you had to. You thought that was love. But love, real love, is not about carrying someone else's pain. It's about allowing them the space to confront it, to grow through it, and to learn from it. You can love someone from a distance, from a place of strength, not from a place of weakness and dependency. That's the kind of love you owe to yourself, and that's the kind of love you can offer to others. The people you've left behind may never understand. They may never forgive you. And that's something you have to be okay with. It's something you have to accept. Because the truth is, they are not the ones you need to answer to. You don't owe them anything. You owe it to yourself to be the best version of you, to step into your power, to be free of the past. The moment you realize that, you will finally feel the weight lift off your shoulders. You will feel the chains break, and for the first time in a long time, you will breathe deeply, knowing that you are living for yourself, not for anyone else. But let me tell you this, it's not just about them, it's about you. The act of severing the link is an act of self-love. It is a decision to put your needs first, to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being above all else. It is about standing up for yourself and saying, I am worth more than this. You are worth more than the emotional labor you've been putting in for others. You are worth more than the sacrifices you've made at the cost of your own happiness. You are worth more than the shadows you've been living in to make others feel comfortable. And when you finally accept that, when you finally claim your worth, you will feel like you have taken back control of your life. You will feel like you have taken back your power. Severing the link isn't just about cutting people out of your life. It's about cutting out the parts of you that were living for others. It's about severing the link to the old version of yourself that was too afraid to stand up, too afraid to say no, too afraid to prioritize their own happiness. The version of yourself that was a slave to other people's expectations, other people's wants, and other people's needs. That version of you no longer serves you. It is dead, and it should stay dead. The only way to move forward is to bury that old version of yourself and step into the person you were always meant to be. But as you step into your new reality, you will encounter challenges. There will be moments when you feel like you made the wrong choice. There will be times when you feel guilty for putting yourself first. There will be times when you will miss the comfort of the old relationships, the old life, and the old you. But you have to remember that those feelings are temporary. They are a part of the process. Growth is not linear. It is messy. It is filled with ups and downs. But every time you feel doubt creeping in, you have to remind yourself of why you made the choice in the first place. You have to remind yourself of the darkness you were living in before you severed the link. You have to remind yourself of the weight you were carrying and how free you feel now that you've let it go. It's okay to mourn the loss. It's okay to feel sad, to feel guilty, to feel unsure. But you cannot let those feelings control you. You cannot let them stop you from moving forward. Because as hard as it may be, every step you take away from the past is a step closer to the future you deserve. Every time you choose yourself, every time you let go of someone or something that no longer serves you, you're making space for the life that is waiting for you. A life of freedom, peace, and true happiness. And here's the truth. No one else can give that to you. No one else can give you the life you deserve. You are the only one who can create that for yourself. You are the only one who can walk through the darkness, face your fears, and emerge stronger on the other side. No one else can carry you through that process. They may try to pull you back, to guilt you, to make you feel like you are making a mistake. But you have to hold firm in your decision. You have to stand tall and know that this is your journey, your path, your life, and you are the one who gets to decide what that looks like. The darkness you feel is not a punishment. It's a rite of passage. It's where you find your strength. It's where you find the courage to rise, even when everything inside of you is telling you to fall. It's where you discover that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You are capable of creating a life of freedom, a life of peace, a life where you are no longer bound by the chains of the past. And when you finally break through that darkness, when you emerge into the light, you will realize that everything you went through, the pain, the heartbreak, the struggle, was worth it. Because you will have become the person you were always meant to be. A person who is free, strong, and unapologetically themselves. So, let them drift. Let them find their own way. You have done your part. You have made your choice, and now it's time to move forward. It's time to step into the life you were meant to live. The one where you are the hero of your own story. The one where you are free. And that, my friend, is something worth fighting for. In the end, severing the link is not about abandoning others, but about reclaiming your own life, your power, and your peace. It's a painful but necessary act of self-love, growth, and liberation. The darkness you face is not something to fear. It's the space where you will find your strength and true self. Let them drift in their own journey, for you've made the right choice to walk your own path. Embrace the freedom that comes with letting go, and never forget that your peace, your happiness, and your future are worth fighting for.